What's up, my peeps? It's the turtle smashing, dragon punching, titan smashing, zombie blasting, race car drifting, multiplayer butt whipping, the collector of coins, rings, looms, rupees, and tanukis. I got food for self, emeralds for wealth, and med packs for health. I got the double jumps, turbo boosts, time freezes, and invincibility. Leveled up all of my abilities. I run Vice City and made the Mushroom Kingdom better. And I am the first human Spectre. This is Mastermind, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about...
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
The violence in Mortal Kombat X, the next generation or now current generation of consoles and the things that they're able to do. Is the violence too over the top in Mortal Kombat, too realistic for the general public? I initially thought that we had gotten over this conversation back in the 90s, but apparently IGN wants to keep rehashing it because they had this one editor come out and discuss his distaste for the level of violence, considering how much more powerful our systems are now and the visual fidelity that these consoles can now bring. I think he said that he feels uncomfortable with the level of violence that's shown and that it doesn't seem funny to him anymore. I think the whole point to having a fatality is to shock people who see it. I mean, I thought that was always the whole point, and of course to kind of humiliate your opponent. But at any given time throughout history, video game history, you would say at that very moment that this is the best the graphics have ever been, because that's how the video game industry is. So his argument or his point that he made, well, now with the technology that we have now, you can say it's too realistic. But we could have said that 20 years ago with digitized graphics and everything that we saw back then. We were blown away. So I can't really say that I buy that argument, because at any point throughout video game history, at that moment, we're always going to acknowledge that the graphics are more realistic now than what they were even just a year prior to that. That's the way it works. That's how technology advances. The whole point of it is to give the developers freedom to make things either more realistic or just give them the option of creating fantasy worlds that they couldn't have done before. And Mortal Kombat is no different. Now, of course, they're coming up with a lot more creative ways to show off the fighting engine and depict violence, and that's just what it is. But let's not forget, we have a rating system. And this is a mature game. This is a game created for mature game players. It's not a game made for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds. It's just, that's not what this game is. And I think if the editor has a problem with the violence, then he shouldn't play it. If you're going to do a preview of a game, and here's my issue with IGN, if you're going to do a preview of a game, do a preview, talk about the play mechanics, talk about the new fatalities, give your opinion as he did. But if you're going to put somebody in there that kind of has a problem with it and is squeamish about it, save it for a blog or something like that, but don't put it on your preview. And I'm kind of noticing a trend. A lot of these corporate media for the video game industry, I'm not convinced that these people are actual gamers. A lot of them are college interns. I think they hire them young and smart, but they're not really gamers. And you can kind of tell when you see them play demos. A lot of times they just really suck. It's like, okay, it's pretty simple. It's jump, hack, slash, it's whatever it is. And sometimes it's almost like these people haven't beaten the game and they don't know what they're talking about. Even with the questions that they ask Ed Boon when it comes to Mortal Kombat, every single preview that I've seen since E3, it's always the same questions. Hey Ed Boon, how do you guys come up with the fatalities? Do you all sit in a room and just think about this? How do you do it? I really want to know. Oh, Ed Boon, is that really your voice doing Scorpion? So the environmental effects, it's just like Injustice, right? If they were really concerned about their audience and concerned about gamers, they would have a staff that can actually ask questions relevant to whatever game that they're previewing. So, for instance, in a fighting game, you'd want to know about the play mechanics. You'd want to know about the netcode. you'd want to know about things like that. But instead they have these casual gamers who don't really play fighting games, don't really know Mortal Kombat, so the only thing they can really talk about is the violence and simple things like where do you come up with fatalities and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't really surprise me that every time a Mortal Kombat game comes out, you have somebody screaming about the violence, especially people who are supposed to be covering the industry. I mean, we've already gotten past that point. Is that all you have left to talk about? Does it scare you that much? Does it make you feel that uncomfortable?
What are you, a pussy?
Don't get me wrong, I like a lot of the coverage that they do, but there's just something off about some of their staff when it comes to their knowledge of games. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like Al Pacino dancing. He's such a great actor, but then they put him in these dance scenes and I just try to block it out of my memory. So to all you corporate non-gaming talking heads out there, if you have a problem with the violence, all I gotta say is man up and get over here!
Blasting y'all, overcasting y'all, cloudy days making